You know the part that bugs me out about this channel, like really bugs me out, is that way back when, you could look it up. Yeah, I was actually on Fox LA because of some YouTube video that I did on this channel. And I never really picked up after that. You know how somebody would get, like, I had like 15,000 views. You know how somebody gets a lot of views on something and they'll be like, yeah, this is my bro. I just left it alone and shit. I mean, I tried, like not tried as far as like I kept recording videos, but I didn't go as hard as I should have. And I don't know what for, because I was just talking into my phone or whatever it was back when, just to do it. Yeah, because it wasn't a webcam. I don't even know. I was just talking just to talk, bro. It's a diary. It's to talk about what's going on in the world. But I want to say this now that we're on this. There has been this thing where people report the news, like as of recent, where people just, everybody's a fucking news reporter and shit. No, and when I started this channel, it wasn't really like that. Uh, People mostly did like vlogs and shit. The news thing where everybody thought they were a fucking news reporter came on way after the fact and shit. Like that was unheard of. But you know what I figured, that when I was giving my opinion on certain news things, I wasn't technically reporting the news. I was giving my opinion on the news, but that's what news reporters do anyway when it comes to stuff. They give their opinion on the news. Do you hear that? It's my kids in the background. They're always fighting. I got two of them. Real quick disclaimer. If you have one kid, you should stay with that one kid. The minute you give that kid a sibling, they're going to be fighting forever no matter what. You can't even say anything, because 1 second they're fighting, then the next second they're laughing and they're fighting again. Like, I already learned my lesson after all this time of trying to break them up. They're just going to end up arguing again. Anyways, so this brings me to this thing that I just saw. And God wanted me to see this because it came up twice on my YouTube thing. So there was this woman in Detroit. She was homeless, right, with 4 kids in a minivan. And the shit that bugged me out was, I was like, yo, in this day and age, you're like, there's still people out there who have it that bad, where they have to stay in a van in the middle of the cold, like the winter and shit. Like, there's no resources, bro. Like, you can't, like, I don't know, homeless shelters, especially for a woman. That's just shit that bugs me out, because I know for men it's kind of hard to get like homeless fucking help or some shit. That's what I seen in the movie Pursuit to Happiness. I'm sorry, I don't really know about this. um but as far as women, don't they get like the biggest help, especially when they have children or some shit? So that doesn't make any sense. And then for her to have 2 kids unalive, and once again, I'm not a reporter because I don't do that. I just speak on, certain things that come across my feed, because you know how back in the day, well, in movies, I guess, where an old man would look at the newspaper and read the news. Nowadays, instead of, news, we have phones and we just scroll. And I mean, at least I do. I see the news. I don't like do Instagram news or like TikTok news. I do like news outlets and shit. Not to say they're to be trusted, because nobody's to be trusted, but this is where I get my news from. So I was reading this shit. I was like, what the fuck? Bro, how does this happen? And we become so cold as a society that we're just like tending to forget these are 2 children that died because they froze, basically. Not well froze like solid, but hypothermia. This is what the fuck? Because they couldn't find shelter to be inside. Bro, how are we in America, or are we in fucking like Russia or some shit? Which I don't know how bad Russia is. I'm just saying, because I don't even know. That's like, it really came out of my ass. But are we in America, or are we like in a fucking third world country where they don't give nobody help? Hey, why is she crying? Yo, why is she crying? Okay, if she cries one more time, I'm turning everything off and you're going to sleep. One more time she cries. Okay? Watch that. Always works. One more time. Anyways. Really, it's really crazy. But anyways, as I was saying. So yeah. But I don't even think that's like remotely even possible for somebody to have that situation, to be like, um be with kids and go anywhere, even a fucking police station or some shit. I don't even know. Like, how does this even work? Or go to a church or whatever. But yeah, 4 kids, and there's no place like a facility for the public that would take you in. I don't know. I'm not here to judge because it's bad enough, but I'm just saying this is what the thoughts that go through my mind and everything as I'm like reading this news and hearing this news and shit. Like, you see how quiet everything got? You know, like, bro, let me tell you something real quick disclaimer because we're talking about kids. Kids, once you say you're gonna turn everything off, they act right. It's just the fact of life. I don't know why, but that's always the trick. Like, you know, kids, they know. But anyways, yeah. And then I saw another video, which was connected to this, which was freaking weird. It was the father, and the father was just so nonchalant. Not to say that he didn't care, but he was basically making like, oh, she didn't tell me anything. She didn't tell me she needed help. She didn't anything, and he was just like, you know, basically washing his hands free. This is the way I perceived it as like, hey, he didn't know about it. He wasn't told that they needed help and should have told him he had family. But I'm like, bro, this dude in the beginning of this freaking interview, he talks about him being at the gym on the treadmill while this is happening. But so I'm just gonna say this. Usually, if you're at a gym, that means you're working out or whatever, kind of taking care of yourself, I guess, or maybe you're just starting off. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're homeless, you know, too and shit. And then they specifically said that he lived somewhere, except he was kind of farther out, and he said that he worked, so he couldn't really pick up the kids. Bro, I'm gonna say it like this: the guy's a fucking piece of shit. He should have known that fucking this was a problem because it's his fucking kids. You should have known what's going on with your kids. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. You have to know what's going on with your kids. You're never gonna fucking get that over me and be like, oh yeah, she didn't want to tell me, bro. You could fight. You could fucking call the cops then right there and right now and be like, yo, she has my kids in the car in the fucking freezing cold in this parking garage. I want them right now. Obviously, you probably have to go to court if she just still wants the kids there in the fucking cold. But I think the cops would side with the man and be like, yo, I'm the dad. I want to take him home. I don't know. That's what I think. Usually, I know cops can't interfere with that. You got to go to court. You can't just give custody or whatever. But, you know, at least in a situation like that, I would think that the fucking dad would have a fucking winning chance to be like, yo, my kids are outside in the fucking cold right now. I'm going to take them right now. But then the guy wants to act like he didn't know. Ain't no fucking, there's no excuse for that, for a dad not to know where their kids at, bro. How do you even go to sleep? And the last time he said he saw him was last month. This is the words that came out of his mouth. How the fuck do you have little babies? 2-year-old, 3-year-old, whatever. Let's get this right. 9-year-old and a 2-year-old, and you don't know where they're sleeping at night. For 3 months, because this lady said she was homeless for 3 months. Bro, you a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck what life choices the lady made. You should know where the fuck your kids are at any time. And that's the God honest truth. That goes with everybody. Bro, there's no excuse to not be a parent. You can't just be like, well, I didn't know. How the fuck was I supposed to know? She didn't tell me, and still be upsetting, though. I mean, there's a slight possibility where, you know, you could be so nonchalant and be like, I didn't know. She didn't tell me, so I didn't know, and that's it. But, bro, when you have kids, especially the little ones, I think you should know what is the mother's living situation, especially for a fucking baby. For 3 months, sleeping in a van in fucking dirty Detroit, filthy, nasty, disgusting, fucking rat-infested Detroit shit smells all the time out there. Nah, there's no excuse. No excuse.